some people will think I'm crazy when I will be saying that. I believe I can pull 500.
One of the toughest strongmen in history, right here. It's not a beauty contest. This is strongman. And to be alive. If you can't do that, then and away we go.
Welcome to the Giants Live Podcast. I'm Radzi, this is Darren Sadler, and today we're joined by, once again, the man who's just broken his own world record in the log press, 230 kilograms. I'm Biby.
Yes.
How are you? Still smiling?
Yeah, no, I'm still, so happy. Yeah, I'm still, how to say that, in the moon?
Over the moon.
Over the moon,
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's a blessing. I'm so happy. I was able to do it in Glasgow for the second time.
Can we talk about the actual lift itself? Because it was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
When you get it to your chest and you initially went for it,
Yes.
a lot of people thought it's all over. What went through your mind at that point?
And, to break a record, it's always hard. It's not easy. And it's a big, big pressure. But I did train a lot for this record. And like you said, when I cleaned it, the first attempt, it was like, it took me to 2019. I'm actually sorry, 2018, when I first tried 230 kilogram.
Was that against Eddie? When you and Eddie...
Against Eddie, yes. So it took me back to 2018, and then I woke up again. I'm like, okay, you know what? Wake up, baby, you have to do this now. And then smashed it because I knew I had the power in me. I knew how hard I trained for this. And I did a lot of stretching. I had to lose weight, it's a sacrifice, and I'm glad that the hard work paid off.
When going back to 2018, that attempt there, I didn't think you believed it was probably going to happen.
Exactly.
As in, it came off your chest.
Yes.
It actually wasn't a million miles away.
Exactly.
But the way you let go of it, I thought, okay, so he tried.
Yes.
But versus
Yes.
last week,
Yes.
you were not locked.
Exactly.
And you somehow managed to just use tricep strength.
Yes.
It was unbelievable.
I will say that the 2000 version, I wasn't, I wanted to do it, but my body wasn't ready. Yeah, so I remember when I cleaned it, my back cramped at the same time. I'm like, holy shit, what's this? Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, but, I wasn't mature enough. And I believe with a lot of training, a lot of prep, a lot of advice, and I had to come in Yorkshire, in Burkina Faso, couple of times to help, to get help from Darren Sadler with my cleaning. You remember? But
yeah, the pressing was easy and the cleaning, you just couldn't get it right. And it was a few simple things. And I have the benefit here of seeing a lot of people training lock.
yes.
Usually people make similar mistakes. So it was just his positioning as he picked it up. His positioning was totally wrong.
Exactly.
And he was trying to clean it with his biceps. Now, the thing is, his biceps are really strong. So he was getting away with it up to about 210. 210, maybe even 220.
Bicep.
So he was just using like a hip thrust on his biceps. But then the problem is, the logs at his chest and his biceps are burning. So I had to get him to actually use the roll of the log. So yes, use your hips. Yes, use your biceps a little bit. But the main thing you need to do is use the momentum of the roll. So you literally just turning the log over.
Exactly.
So it starts here, dug into the hips, and as it comes up, it rolls. Whereas the handles were staying the same. It was coming away from his body and then landing on his chest. It wasn't touching here. Exactly. Whereas now he uses his body to get it up. So all he does is turn it over and it's here. Whereas before, it would almost smack him in the chin.
Exactly, yeah.
And his arms are then burned out to do the biggest lift ever,
True. So from what you said, you can see technique is very important. You can be strong as you want, but if you don't learn the proper way, you will never break a record.
But I'll say the clean's easy now for you.
Oh, yeah.
The 230 is easy. It was never...
Yes. Your 230 clean, like, it was...
Whereas before, even at 220, 225, it was the clean.
Yes.
You press it, but it was the clean.
Before, when I went to lift the record, my first, I was just scared to not be able to clean it. But now, it's like less stress going, because every time I wanted to do the lift, I wasn't sure if I will be able to clean. So this time I was sure that I will be able to clean. And, and like I said, when I have it on my chest, I'll press it. So, it's, the same saying is standing.
But now when it's on your chest, it is on your chest, but you're stood upright.
Exactly.
Before, you were leant all the way back. You now look like a different guy.
I believe my back was so weak before. So in this training camp, I did a lot of deadlift. Yes, I needed to put my deadlift to another level so that I can stand right, and my body was more connected.
A lot of front squats as well, because the thing is, and I'm not trying to knock anybody else that's lifting, but if you get in like a 100 kilo log or a 120 or a 150, we've all got a skeleton, haven't we, at the end of the day. Once you're getting 230 onto your chest, I mean, that's a good deadlift.
Yeah.
So what's happening is so much strain, it's trying to pull you forward. So he did a lot of front squats to get used to just having weight there.
Yes.
And what that did was that, because if you look at his earlier attempts, or even the ones that he did, he was leaning right back, and he almost chest pressed it up. Whereas if you look now, the back's quite straight.
Exactly.
Because of the front squats.
Exactly.
Also, on a personal level, how satisfying was it for you when people online had said the last one wasn't a proper rep, it was a soft rep, you weren't locked out, to this time stand there and have time to look around the arena?
Man, it's I can say I was crying for like 2 years, and now I'm happy, because there was a lot of talk, a lot of negative comments about that lift I did in 2021. So it was even hard for me to go watch the videos. So yes, it was, because they did put in my head that it was no lift. So to me, I didn't do anything, So I had to keep working hard. And last year, I believe last year was my strongest version. I was huge when I came. You remember? Mm-hmm. I was like around 210 kilogram body weight. And I didn't even use a sleeve to attempt the 230. But I failed. So that's mean my mind wasn't ready. So I had to go back, regroup, and come back stronger. And this time, I've been working a lot on my mind. And like I said, this is just the start. I just did the 230, and I've had a big plan. And I'm so focused. My mind is so ready now.
So you've got the world record in the log, world record
Axel.
Exactly. Which of those world records do you prefer?
Good question. It's I would say it's two different Biby.
Okay.
So if you go back to Royal Albert Hall, this is a beast, a Biby that is ready to destroy everything. I felt strong. I did my deadlift. I didn't use a belt that time for the 360, and I did a 5 rep. I was huge and strong, and even when I was walking, I felt the power. So I was ready to lift anything this day, but my technique wasn't right, but my mind was I was ready to do big things. So if I have to compare the Biby back in 2021 and the Biby now, it's different. This Biby, after my father passed away, I went through depression. So I had to fight back to be really strong in my mind to be at this level. So, this one went through a lot of pain, a lot of things, and, I had to fight back to be good in my mind. So I took the decision again to come back and beat the old Biby and, do better, great things.
How, obviously, let's imagine if I'm as strong as you, which obviously I'm not. When it comes to, say, the log for me, my hands would be so wide on that log. How do your hands feel on that log?
It's, I will say, rules are the rules. And if the rules, if the log is narrow, So we have to stick to the rules. But I'm a wide man. If the log was wider, I was going to press more because like you see when I press, you're going to just feel more triceps for me because it's narrow. But if it's wide like my shoulders, I will be able to use more shoulder power.
Would that be possible?
Well, I think the problem with that, obviously putting me on the spot, but is that everyone's got to do the same logging competition.
Okay.
And if you look at it from another point of view, someone like, let's say, Pablo Cordiaca, we actually call him Narrow Pablo, don't we?
Exactly.
You know, because he's not obviously...
He's unreal. He's unreal.
He wouldn't want that. So that's why we have these specific dimensions. So most of the logs are at the same handle width now. And I think it would probably be unfair to have a different log that's specific to someone who's wider, because Biby's wider than probably anybody there, definitely wider than anybody there. So then you'd have the athletes that aren't as wide complaining.
Or what if we chucked one out there so Slater are a company that make amazing logs, and they've just decided that's the width for their logs. If we adopted, say, the classically but less known Radzi log, where we have it just a tiny bit wider, for a competition, could we adopt the Radzi log that's maybe inspired by Slater?
I think that even Steve Slater, who makes the logs, the width has been determined over a lot of years. You know, so there has been some wider, some narrow, but nowadays they're all about the same. And all the main companies and the main guys that make the logs go to the same spec. So I think that changing it for one athlete probably wouldn't. I don't think even the fans would want it, if I'm honest with you.
Exactly.
As much as I agree, if it was a bit wider, it would be better for Biby. It would also be worse for other people.
Or what if you flipped that argument though and said that with the stones, the first stone is so high, somebody like yourself back in the day makes it hard for you to compete. So you could have said we should lower them for some athletes.
Well, listen, I did say that, and they never.
I'm trying to find
It's just what it is. So yeah, and obviously the stones were high for me, and for other people it was easier because they were low. But that's just what it is. We all have to deal with what we've got, and unfortunately, Biby's like 2 meters wide. You know?
But my personal opinion about this, and if I see old videos of previous world records, it was different handles. It's like the 228 record. The handle was wide, but I think that most of the World Log Lift Championship, the biggest one, were owned by Giants Live. Like if you see previous log lift competition, so I believe there was the one that all the best log lifters met in the same place and lifted. So it's like when I started, I did the World Log Lift with Eddie.
Yeah.
I did it also with Big Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all did that log. So I think it has to be the one.
Well, I think
Exactly.
if this is going to get taken more seriously, which obviously for strength fans, it is very serious. It's probably one of the biggest records, if not the biggest record. Well, obviously we're trying to get this out there to the general public.
Exactly.
So for it to be taken seriously, you've got to have a specification and stick to it.
Yes.
Oh, but couldn't you argue the opposite? That if for other people to be able to try it in gyms, if they're not 2 meters wide like Biby, then they're not going to be able to do. I'm just trying to make a case. I'm not going to lie to you, because I suppose from my end is you've got tradition on your mind, you've got fairness on your mind. All I'm speaking as a fan.
I want to see a big.
I want to see a big lift.
Me, I will stick to the rules, and
He's a good man.
Yes, and I lost weight, especially to be able to do this record.
And you know how much?
Probably around 185. I know Darren does it.
Just why. Listen, do you know why I think this is wrong? Because we were in the gym last week, saw the show, and he stood on the scales, and they went straight up to 185, and then
He did say that.
E for error. That's what happened. Seriously, that was a week ago.
Okay, I lost weight.
Yeah. So he's not 185. the scales when he went to 185 and then they stopped working.
But you remember you cooked some chicken for me.
Oh,
so,
right,
yeah.
okay.
Somebody chicken.
Oh, he's a good cook. Yeah,
Pushed it over the edge.
yeah. So that's probably why I was like over 185.
Hey Shred fans, I think it's a pretty well-known fact that Giants Live and the best strongmen in the world are rather partial to picking up a used car or two.
Away we go! Explosive shot from these men!
But we must admit that our cars are never under 8 years old. And as for the engines, well, they don't even have engines.
That is so close! Wow, that's fast! You just attacked the car!
However, at Hey Car, you buy only the best used cars on the market. All cars come with a warranty, 10-day money-back guarantee, and they're sourced from selected dealers only.
Look at the speed! Wow!
Unlike our beat-up bangers, every car is under 8 years old and has less than 100,000 miles on the clock.
And I'm pretty sure it'll be a world record!
You could browse the range at heycar.co.uk, or why not go to the App Store or Google Play to download the Hey Car app. That's spelled heycar.co.uk. See? Strong men can spell.
The other thing we have to talk about is usually for a strongman, they're full-time.
Yes.
They have access to all the kit they need.
Exactly.
That's very different to yourself going back in Burkina Faso.
It's very different because I started lifting in Canada. I was there for schools, for university, and I started with powerlifting and then did a couple shows of strongman. And when I was there, it was easier for me because, I had equipment, I had treatment for it. And I was able to even do more full shows. That's how I met Darren. Yeah, I was doing full shows and I was obviously always strong. Like my shoulders was always, top class. And now that I had to move back home, it's like you went to a virgin place. There was nothing. So I had to start building my equipment, start getting used to it. It's like start everything to zero, So my case is different than a proper strongman, that someone that have all the equipment that is getting ready. Me, I have to travel sometime, come and Darren take care of me. I stay at his place. So, when I'm here, I can learn. But obviously, I have a lot of work to do. We have 5 schools now, and with more than 10,000 students. And I just recently built a gym that I can even train in it too. So I think I'm taking it slowly and nicely. And obviously, I need to play safe. We don't have, in my country, we don't have all the, let's say, if there is a muscle tear, we don't have surgeon that will be able to take care of it. I will have to travel to another country. So I need to play safe. I need to make sure that, I'm healthy. I need to play safe. So I'm taking my time and always listening to advice. So my road will probably not be straight like a normal strongman, but I'm coming my way.
So, Daz, if he would say to you, set my program out for 12 months, what does he need to change?
Well, it depends what he's training for. But if he's training for a full show, the way I look at it now, where he is right now, no matter what pressing event he gets, if he was at World's Strongest Man, he's going to probably win it. Okay? Unless the apparatus is too small for him, like you said, you know what I mean? And he's going to certainly come top 2. He can now deadlift close to 440, which that's gone up massively. So his back training is obviously fine. I think when he puts effort into moving fast, things like yokes, sacks, farmers walks, he really can move fast, but he's got to train it. I mean, back in, I think it was 18 or 19, he beat Laws when Laws was,
Or 17.
Well, 17.
2017, yeah.
In the framework and the yoke. Only by half a second, but still, Laws was one of the best in the world at them. And Biby beat him, no one saw that coming. So I think if he could have the big log, the big press we know he's got, the big deadlift that we know he's got, if he could get that speed back again, which is only work, it's only doing it, you know what I mean, and conditioning, the fast twitch muscle fibers. If he can do that, then he's going to sail through to the final, the world's strongest man. But obviously, like he says, you know, what the way it sort of amazes me when he talks about it. Over here, if we get an injury, where we sat now, there's 4 hospitals within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't got that. We take it for granted. Or if you get injured, you go see a doctor, you go see a surgeon. You can choose your surgeon. You can pay to go private. You can get it for free on the NHS. He's got to leave the country and get a flight. So if you get a serious injury, it's a serious problem, you know, and you're out for a lot longer because you can't just get the treatment.
Exactly.
You don't have the physios and the masseuses and all that at hand. We've all got used to it now. And all the top strongmen now, it's not even, it's like a must. Right, well, we have our physio on a Monday, we get massage on a Friday, all these different treatments. And even like when Biby comes over and stays, even the technology, stuff like massage gun, things like that, the heat pads and all this, well, he buys it all over here because it isn't over there. Whereas we order it and it comes the next day on Amazon, you know.
Exactly.
So all these things are against him, but I believe if he wants it, he can do it, you know.
True.
But it's just going to take a little bit more planning, which, like you said, he's on his own pathway, and I think you've got to stick on your own pathway with these things. But it's a different situation to any other strongman, really.
Yeah.
The other thing that you have in your advantage, in your arsenal, is the word genetics.
Yes.
There's one of your brothers is always here.
Yes.
Atim,
Yes.
your younger brother. He's how old?
Atim is 23.
And when I first met Atim,
Yeah.
he was, I think, 18.
Yes.
He was about maybe 85 kilos.
Yes.
He's getting bigger by the day.
Yes. You know, it's I think genetic plays a lot because let's say Atim right now, he can squat like around 320 kilogram for his body weight. Yeah, deadlift 300 for rep. Yeah, bench press like 220 and more. So I think genetics plays a lot, and I will believe that hard work too. You can have good genetic, but if you sit at home watching TV, like eating bad food, you will not be strong. You will never be strong. So it's genetic and hard work and consistency.
The problem is that his understanding of numbers comes from you.
Yes.
So if you've got an older brother
Yeah.
who squats 140,
Yes.
you might start on 80.
True.
When you've got you as a brother,
Yes.
his whole understanding of what's normal
Yeah.
is so warped.
Exactly. And the thing is, you're right, because now, let's say 200 log is not, like, in his head, it's doable. So, and I remember when he was younger, when I first time met, I came home, he said, I will beat you one day. That's what he told me when he was younger. So I'm waiting to see. But he's, like I say, he's training very hard, very quiet person. So, yeah, but honestly, me, when I see him lift, I think he's more intense than me. Trust me. Yeah. Me, I'm a big baby sometimes when I lift. I have to be like, sad and to be able to be strong, right? But he can live, he can be very intense. So,
So he's your younger brother Atim, who, by the way, is the other side of the wall.
exactly.
You've your older brother,
Yeah, Zoom. Yeah, Zoom is very athletic. I believe he was the one that could make Olympics, but he didn't want to. Like, I remember when I was in school, and we used to have like a gym training. He was one of the fastest sprinter in his school. Like, he can backflip, he can do anything, but I guess he just didn't want to be like I said, to being a professional athlete, it takes a lot. It's not just the genetic, it's not just, it takes a lot of hard work, and you have to want to do it. Yeah, if you don't want to do it, you will never be able to achieve anything.
and then what's really frustrating about your family, they're not just genetically gifted with the body, genetically gifted with the mind, because your sister,
Yes,
what's her job?
she is a lawyer. Yeah, so she work in Canada. She also work in Burkina Faso. And the oldest is doctor. Atim is also doing law too. And Zoom is engineer. And me, I have my master's degree in business. So I'm a businessman. Like Darren.
Darren's a serious businessman.
Oh yeah, maybe one day we'll work together. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah.
What would be the name of the event?
I think I've got
Giants Live Africa.
Giants Live
Plus
Africa.
Giants Live Africa. Yeah, it can be something very good. Yes.
Well, there might be a Giants Live coming to stateside at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
And in terms of, you mentioned the word safe before, was something you were talking about with your training.
Exactly.
It's hard to do things safely at the moment in Burkina Faso.
Yes.
How are things?
It's I will say it's very difficult now because it's 50-50. You know, it's dangerous 50, dangerous good. So when you are in the right place, you're safe. When you're in the red zone, you're not safe. So let's say even traveling from cities, it's not safe like before, you know. So things are difficult. It's I would say the country is fighting. So to be able to live there, you have to have the fighting mind. Let's say if you want to come to Burkina Faso now, in your head, you have to know that anything can happen. You know what I mean? It's like I'm in UK right now. I sleep peacefully because I know so nobody will come and do something. So let's say a country is a red zone. When you go in there, you have to be aware. That's the thing. And someone living in that place, it's a constant pressure. Either you want it or not, it's like a pressure, a permanent pressure that is on you, because anything can happen anytime. So that pressure, I will not say I'm used to it, but I'm living with that there.
How many years has it been like that where it's...
I will say probably 2015 going up.
Right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
A long time then.
Yeah, it's a long time. And it kept getting worse, but, finger crossed, we are fighting back, and I hope everything will be all right. It's like everywhere in the world now. Yeah, things are happening, and, we hope everything come back to normal one day.
One thing I wonder about yourself is, I think, and it's a gift and a curse, but you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you compete.
Exactly.
And I think that's not just because you want to do it, but because you feel like you're doing it for other people.
Yes, definitely. It's not like just me doing it. If it was just me doing it, it'd be fine. It would be a bad day. But think about like 22 million people, like they are all watching. Is their hope, like, this victory for them is a win. It gives them, they can sleep happy this day. And there is that pressure. I want to make them happy. I want to give everything. And all Africa was watching. And I think it's I'm very proud of it, and it's a good thing, because that day, like, they heard everything, there will be peace that day. Everyone will be happy. So I'm happy that I'm the one that is able to do that, to bring happiness to all the, country people, life.
And for you, what would be, when you retire, what would make you say, yes, I've done it.
I've done it. Okay, so it's hard to say, because I feel like I said, my mind now is the best. My mind is at its best. So I will set goals, yes, small goals, and my body will tell me when to stop. And when I stop, that's when I will, know what I've done. So I don't have any specific, like, big goals. So I set goals. It's like now, what's the next goal for us in log lift? Yeah. So I think I had a deal with Darren, and I was supposed to ask for more. And then after I didn't see any log, I think they packed everything.
He said, "Oh, what can I do after the 2:30?" I said, "Let's just get a 2:30 done." My nerves can't stand anymore.
Yeah.
So we did the 2:30, and then they melted enough for Saturday night, don't you?
Okay, but in 12 months' time.
Okay, so let's say if Big Z said 235 is the number that nobody thinks someone can do in log lift, 235. So if we prep good, I believe next year, if you want it, as I did, I will attempt 240. Actually, I will do 240 in Glasgow.
Cool. There we go. You said it now.
I said it. Yeah, I said it. But I hope the price will be higher.
Oh, definitely.
That's the deal. So how much you put in it?
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Huh?
What? Okay.
Gone quiet now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. It's
Okay. Okay, so good deal. I'm ready.
We should.
Next year, so pick the place.
Glasgow.
Glasgow. So next year, Iron Biby is coming for the biggest log ever in Glasgow. So you better be there.
2 questions. 250.
Yes.
Is the quarter ton possible?
Yes.
That'd be impressive, wouldn't it?
Really.
I no one had touched that for a long time because I was trying to explain this actually earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like 200 kilo log is probably the equivalent, if you look at the amount of people that have done it in competition, to a 1,000-pound deadlift. So then if you say
240.
your 230, you've got to put it the equivalent to the 500 because it's the most anyone's done.
Exactly.
But I think if you said 250, I just think the people that, let's say Tom Stoltman did 210, massive log, it was fantastic. And there's been people, Radzi was very good, around the 220 mark. But I know the difference between 220 and 230 is 10 kilos, but it's a lot more than the deadlift going up by 10 kilos.
Definitely.
Because he's a different, there's so many more aspects. It's not just pulling a bar. There's the clean, there's the balance, everything like that. So I think if going up to even the 230 going to the 240 is massive. I think it's so huge. I think people underestimate it. It just sounds like 10 kilos, but it's... So if you want to put it on another lift, on a squat, on a deadlift, it's not as much to go up by. You know, like Eddie went up by 45 kilos, which was massive.
Or 35 actually, even less, yeah. To your point.
But doing it on a press, I think it's a totally different thing. And I think jumping up by 5-10 kilos is massive. That's not me saying he can't do it. I think he can. I think what Biby needs to do is use his legs more.
That's why I will come see you.
Yeah.
I need help with my prep.
This is a strict press. Nobody else doing even 200 kilos strict presses it.
Final thing, we have to give a shout out to Rocco, because Rocco is a man behind the scenes, chiropractor, physiology extraordinaire, and he if that your range at the end.
Yeah. When Rocco saw me, it was like, now you have like the best shape to do anything I want. And then we did work before the show.
Okay.
And he worked on my flexibility. And show day, we did work again. I was so flexible. You could see the lift. And, he's a great guy. He loves what to do. And he knows what to do. So, shout out to you.
Shout out to... And Daz, kudos, by the way, to Giants Live, because a lot of the people behind the scenes are making sure that the guys are as healthy and as prepared as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to make sure everyone's healthy. It's a lot of pressure. Strongman, there's no getting away from it. It's a dangerous sport. Putting 230 kilos above your head is a dangerous thing.
It's far.
It's dangerous. You wouldn't. If something was 230 kilos, you wouldn't stand underneath it.
No.
And that's what they're doing. So yeah, we've got to make sure everyone's healthy and as much safety as we can put in place. And there's a massive team doing that. And the guys know that as well. The athletes know that. They get blood tests, make sure everything's right. Any sort of preparation they need. We've got the best physios, masseuses, hydration drips, things like that. So they all get as much as they can to be the best they can on that day.
True.
Which again, that might just give you 1 or 2%, but that's a hell of a lot when you're looking at breaking a record by 2 or 3%.
And finally, when's the next time we'll see you?
The next time you will see me. I have to come back here to prep for Worlds next year.
World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to Worlds next year?
Oh, yeah. This year I was injured. So, yeah. And this time we made a plan. And I will start working with my events and focusing on deadlifts Also, yes, I will also do the World Deadlift Championship next year. So I need to be in the deadlift game now. Yes, and I believe, some people will think I'm crazy when I will be saying that. I believe I can pull 500. So it's part of my plan now. And many people will talk. But like I said, my mind is ready on it. And I will prove again.
One final question then. You didn't have to say what you just said. You didn't have to say that you believe you'll pull 500. What is it about you that makes you want to say things and then prove yourself right?
Well, it's that's a good. It's really good question. It's others people comment affect sometimes. Either you want it or not. Let's say someone will be like, okay, Radzi is not nice, and you hear it, it will affect you. But it's you that have to not let it, affect you. So saying something and proving it, I love doing that. And it will also motivate others to keep working out, to keep moving, and to know that in life, when you set a goal, you can do it. So it's very important that, we all have that in our mind. Let's say you have a goal in your business, you set your goal, you work hard, and it is possible to make it happen. So it's, everyone see me as a log lifter, just a presser. So if me saying that I want to do the world deadlift record, they'll be like, oh, he's not a deadlifter. It's something I can prove that it is possible if I put the work on it. And many people will not think I will do that. I will even say that Aaron Biby is coming for the deadlift record, but I just said it now. So let's do it. I'm in the game.
240 log on its way, 500 deadlift on its way, world's strongest man next year on its way. Keep an eye out for this guy.
Thank you.